Today I'm here with Charlotte.
Hello.
Sorry. I'm stabbing you.
Awkward intros.
In Charlotte's apartment, if you can't tell.
By all the cat plushies.
Yeah. And we're gonna talk about the subject of microaggressions. If you haven't heard of the word microaggression, congratulations, you live such like a nice life. So a microaggression, according to the first result on Google, is the everyday verbal, nonverbal, and environmental slight, snub, or insult, whether intentional or unintentional, which communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative messages to target persons based solely upon their marginalized group membership. There's an extremely long definition. Basically, a microaggression is when someone is trying to fit into a society and then like a person from that society does something that makes it seem like they don't accept that person into that society.
Yeah.
Do you want to give an example?
Sure. So like one very common microaggression that you'll see people complaining about in Japan is, say you go to a convenience store and you purchase a bento and they'll give you like a fork to eat your bento with, whereas they would give chopsticks to a Japanese customer.
Right. Some foreigners who live in Japan, especially if they've been living here a long time, they're like, I know how to use chopsticks.
Yeah.
Why are you giving me a fork instead of giving me chopsticks? I want to be treated the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
And I can totally understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I can see where they're coming from.
For me personally, I don't feel upset by that.
It doesn't bother me either, because you can see that they have good intentions. They're just thinking like, oh, maybe they have difficulty using chopsticks. I'll give them a fork so they can eat easily.
Right. They're just trying to be helpful.
They're not thinking like, oh, stupid gaijin, you can't use chopsticks, fork. Like, they're doing it because they're trying to be nice.
Right.
So just try to remember what their intentions are.
Yeah. So, like another example would be if you're at a store and then the worker speaks to you in English instead of speaking to you in Japanese.
That often happens.
Yeah. They're not trying to, say like
just assume that you can't speak Japanese.
They're trying to like be preemptively helpful.
Right. They've probably come across lots of customers who couldn't speak Japanese.
Right.
So their first instinct is like, oh, non-Japanese person, I should probably try English with them first.
Yeah. On the other hand, like, I totally understand people who do get upset about this, especially if they're a foreigner who is not from an English-speaking country.
Yeah, they don't even speak English. Yeah, that would be frustrating.
Right.
Yeah, or if they've lived in Japan for like 10 years and it's just, it gets kind of tiring when people speak to you in English. You kind of just want them to treat you like everyone else.
Right. Or especially if you're like half Japanese or like you look like a foreigner but you were raised in Japan.
That would be so obnoxious.
I feel really bad for those people.
I can see how that would be really annoying.
For me personally, it's very rare that I've had a Japanese worker speak to me in English instead of Japanese. Usually it only happens at places like airports.
Yeah, or like very big like touristy areas.
Right.
Like Asakusa or something, just where lots of tourists are going through and lots of non-Japanese speakers, so.
Yeah. Almost everywhere I go, they always speak to me in Japanese. Yeah. Especially like even when I first got here and I couldn't speak Japanese at all, they would always speak to me in Japanese. And I'd be like, I heard they'll speak to me in English. I don't understand. So another one would be things like Japanese people getting surprised if you can eat sushi, even though that's really common abroad.
Yeah, they just kind of assume that foreigners don't like eating raw fish.
Right.
So you'll probably get that a lot. Oh, you can eat raw fish.
Yeah.
They're really surprised. But they're probably happy.
No, they are.
that you can eat it.
They are. They're really happy about it, usually. And I mean, I do have friends who don't like raw fish.
Yeah, there are lots of people. Like, I'm pretty sure my parents aren't big fans.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think a lot of that too is just trying to make conversation with someone that they don't know about.
True.
So like when they say like your Japanese is so good right after you've said like konnichiwa or something, like they're.
It's probably just like
a lot, but
like awkward small talk. Like they don't know what else to say.
Right. I just figure they're trying to be nice to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And honestly for me, I'm never upset when someone underestimates me because I get a lot of joy out of surprising people. Like if they underestimate me and then I like show them up, I'm like ha ha ha.
That feels better than them expecting you to speak fluent Japanese and then you can't.
Right.
So I don't see why that's seen as a bad thing.
Yeah. Like I would rather go in and like pretend I have to use a fork and then suddenly like whip out chopsticks in my right hand and in my left hand. I'll be like, whoa!
Yeah.
That would be fun for me.
Exactly. If you're a person that's really affected by these kind of things, you're probably going to run across lots of them in Japan.
Yeah.
So just be prepared for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not saying like you can't feel upset about it because I totally understand why it would bother you, and like I think there's like legitimacy to feeling the way you do. But I mean, try to understand where they're coming from too. They're not trying to be mean. Like they're really just trying to be helpful, or they want to be conversational. They don't know what else to say to you. So they're just trying to be nice. So this was all about microaggressions. If you guys have anything to say about it, please write your comments down below. We'd love to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
And thank you for discussing this with me, Charlotte.
You're
And if you're not subscribed to Charlotte, check out Charlotte in Japan and her second channel, Charlotte's Life.
Yay!
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye. I guess I never realized
The
that.
scenes are really realistic.
Yeah.
Like, the background always looks like actual Japan, like the school scenes.
Yeah, how they draw it, they just take it directly